Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 2126. What are you willing to give up? This week we are talking about sacrifice, and this is day 2 of our 5 days on this topic. Our topic this week is all about sacrifice, and this is day 2. What are you willing to give up? But before we start, I have a little story for you today. So this story happened today. Totally unexpected. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I apologize for the mud marks on here, but there is a story to go with the mud marks, which I didn't realize I had on here till just now. Oh, yes, I have other mud marks on me too. So what happened is that I got an email from Chick-fil-A saying, hey, you've got a free sandwich on us. And one of them was the grilled deluxe sandwich, which I absolutely love that sandwich. The way they grill the meat is very tender, and it doesn't have all that breading and crumbing and frying on it. So I figured, why not? Let's have that for lunch today. And so when I went on, I also had some rewards for some free waffle fries as well. And I'm like, excellent, we'll do that. So we had the sandwich, we had the waffle fries, and I thought, I need a drink. So that was all I paid for. And so I normally, with Chick-fil-A, because it's so popular, is I always put my order in on my mobile app on the phone and then drive to the curbside pickup to pick it up. And since it was getting on to lunchtime, I figured their drive-through might be a little busy. But I have to say, I was there at midday and there was nobody. Like, there was a couple sitting at a table. There was a couple of cars in the curbside pickup. And I'll tell you why I was there at midday. I would actually arrive just after 11. So there's a story. And the drive-through was basically empty. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? But I think it might have something to do with the Shake Shack that opened up across the road, because that place was mobbed. It was mobbed. Yeah. But anyway, back to my story. Oh, I've got runny notes. Hang on. So that's all that dust from yesterday from trimming my, palm trees. Anyway, so back to the story. So we left here just before 11, put the order in at around 10:40, got Zeffy, we jumped into the car, we headed off to Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A is only about a 5-minute drive from my house. And usually when we have to do curbside pickup, it takes us anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Well, when I got there and there's like nobody there, I figured we'll be there pretty quick. And we were. Well, it was pretty quick. And so we're sitting there, and because it was about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 29 degrees Celsius, I decided to put the windows down because there was a nice breeze blowing, and turn the engine off. Yes. Big mistake. But I promise it's a good story. So we're sitting in the car there, and Zeffy's sitting in the shade. I'm in the shade. We've got this nice breeze coming through the car, going through the windows, cross breeze and all that sort of stuff. And they bring out my order pretty quickly. And so I put the drink in the drink holder, put the bag over the other side there, and check it first, put it over the side there, and go to turn the car, and click, 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 click. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a dead battery. In the back of my car, I have this little unit that's about this long and about this, and it's a jump starter. It actually has the red and black cables on it, so you can keep it in the back of the car, so you don't have to wait for somebody to come along and jumpstart you. You can carry your own portable one, and it will actually, this particular one I have will also jumpstart the RV. Yeah, because I discovered that when the guy turned up one day to jumpstart my RV, and he had this thing. I said, that little thing's going to start this, and he's like, oh yeah, and it did, and it will do. I think it's I want to say 10 jump starts before you have to recharge it. It's really cool. It's the coolest thing. But anyway, and it charges on a USB port. Anyway, that's not part of the story. So, and I thought, that doesn't sound, because my lights are still coming up and everything's coming up on the thing. It's just going click, 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 click. And I thought, this is not good. So I thought, now, I don't have AAA. And I suddenly thought, hang on. I wonder if Good Sam roadside assistance will get my car towed for me, because I'm trying to think, how am I going to get out there? I'm still sitting in curbside 1. And I have, for the RV, I have the roadside assistance for them. So, and I think I have it, I think it's good through to 2026 or 2027. I can't remember which year. I know that this year it's still valid. So I called them up, explained the situation, and they said, yes, we will have a tow truck come and get you. Where are you situated? So we gave them the address and told them I'm sitting in curbside 1 is the name of the parking lot I'm sitting in, of the parking space I'm in. And they said, where do you want to take it? And I was like, oh my gosh, where's the mechanics? I thought, hang on, there's a Brake Master like half a mile to 3/4 of a mile down the street. Same road, just down the street. So I let them know about that, and they're like, okay, we'll take it there. So I gave them a call and said, hey, look, this is the issue. And they said, okay, bring it on in. We'll have a look at it. We'll check to see what it is and let you know before we do any work. And I'm like, excellent. And so the tow truck, the app, the text messages I got from Good Sam said that it was going to be, was it 45 to 75 minutes before they showed up? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And like, I start work at 12. They've been, I got there just after 11. I got my food at like 11, like 11:10, I think I got my food. It took about 10 minutes to come out because we got there just after 11. It was around 11:10 when the food came out. So I looked at Zeph and says, well, I guess we're going to have a picnic here in the car. So we sat there and I had lunch, and Zeffie got a little bit of the grilled chicken. She got a couple of the waffle fries, and she was happy. And she had her water in the back. I have a non-spillable water bowl it's a silicone water bowl that sits in the back there. And it's actually, when you look at it, it's not straight up across the bottom. It's tilted. So it fits the slope of the seats. And then it has this lip edging around it that stops the water spilling out. And I've tested it on some pretty rough roads, and it's worked brilliantly. And so she had plenty of water. I had, for some reason, picked up, because I couldn't find her water bottle to fill up her thing. I have a thermostat one, insulated bottle water. So I grabbed one of my insulated water bottles that has a little screw top on the top, and filled that up with water and put that in the car as well. And then found her other one because it was still sitting in the car. And so made sure she had water before we left the house. And so, yeah, that other water bottle comes into the story in a little bit. So I got all these people texting me, my sound's off, so put that down on the table. So we sat there, we had our little picnic. I got up, I put everything into the trash, let Zeffie out, walked her around so she could do her thing, and got her back into the car again. And then we got a phone call from the tow truck driver. When was it? It was like around 11:45, 11:50. I had 10 minutes to get to work. Thankfully, I work from home. And he said that he was just a few minutes away. He was almost there. And I told him exactly where I was parking. And I was actually standing outside the car walking around when he pulled up. And he got into the car, put it in neutral, pushed it out of the parking space, got it lined up, pulled his truck up. He got the car on the back of was outside of the car with Zeffie. I had Zeffie outside of the car on a leash. And he gets it all up on the back of the truck and everything else. We're ready to roll. And he goes, oh, the dog has to go in the car. And I looked at him and I went, that's not happening. I said, if you're okay, she can sit in the footwell by my feet. And he's sort of like, well, if she can jump up there, that will work. Because my car is already on the flatbed of the tow truck, and he wants me to get up there with my dog and put her back in the car. No, I can't even put the windows up. So there's no way that that's happening. Because she's a bit of a long, but anyway. And so he said, if she can get up there, that's fine. So I'm going to lift her up. So I put my bag, which had the 2 water bottles in it, into the truck. And then I noticed that my shirt was wet. And I'm like, why's my shirt wet? And then I realized that one of the water bottles was leaking. So I get Zeffie up into the truck, and it's a hike up there, and get up in the truck with her. And the guy said, looks like one of my water bottles has leaked. I apologize for that. And I said, it's just water. And my water bottle, I hadn't screwed the little lid thingy on tightly enough. And so he had some rags there. We quickly mopped it up. And then Zeffie, she laid down between, because it was 2 captain seats in the front there. She laid down between the seats and was quite happy to sit there and stay there. At one point, she tried to get under his legs. I was like, no. He goes, oh, my dog always goes under there. I says, no, she knows not to do that. Because I said, when I was driving the RV, she tried it one time. I said I wouldn't allow her leash to be long enough to go underneath the legs. So we get out of the shopping centre, get over to Brake Masters. He gets the car off the back tries to park it in the parking space. It's a little slope to get up in the parking. He just leaves it across 2 spaces. And I got no idea how and he left me there. Like, it took him from once we got the car loaded to when we got to where we were going, like 5 minutes. Like I said, I think it was 3/4 of a mile down the road from where we had to go from to get to the Brake Masters. And it's actually on the road home, on the way home. And so now it's only a mile and a half from home, because it's like 1.4, 1.5 miles from the Brake Masters to my house. So we get there, and Zeffy's been very good. I get her to pee before we go inside. And so we go inside, we get everything checked in and all of that. They go out to have a look at the car to see what the issues are. And they come back and go, it's not the starter, it's the alternator. And I'm like, oh, crap. I'm like, it couldn't wait 2 months before crapping out. So they gave me the price, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, we've got to get it done because I need my car. And so got all that organized. And then I said, I need to get home. And they're like, okay. I said, how long is it going to take? They said, oh, about an hour, hour and a half. And I'm like thinking, yeah, that'll probably turn into 2 to 3 hours, you know. And I said, is there any way that you guys can give me a ride home? Because the tow truck driver said, absolutely not. He said, I can only drive you to where the car's been dropped off. I'm like, totally fine. And so they said, yeah, we'll get the driver to come out and pick you up, and he'll just meet you out front. I went, okay. So I took Zeffy outside to see if she had to do her business. She pees as the guy drives, as the guy pulls up. I open up the front door for her. I says, now get into, because I figured she can sit in the footwell again. So she jumps into the footwell and then straight up onto the passenger's seat and just sits there like a little prima donna, as to say, right, I'm set. And I looked at her and I says, you're not sitting there, you're sitting down there. And she looked out at the floor, looked at me, looked at the driver, and then just looked out the window like, you can do whatever. So I had to try. So I was trying to pick her up. She wasn't being cooperative about that. And I managed to get my butt on the seat and just kind of like scooch it over and kind of pull her over onto my lap. The driver was cracking up laughing. It was so funny. And Zeffy's just like going like a limp noodle in my arms, which makes it very difficult to move her around when she goes into this limp noodle mode. And so I finally got my butt in enough that I could close the door, got her situated kind of on my lap. And she was kind of had her butt on the console, and managed to get the seatbelt on as well. And, you know, it was a 5-minute drive home. And the guy dropped me off. He's laughing the whole way about this dog. And Zeffy's just like sitting there like, yeah, I'm here. What are you going to do about it? You know, I'm not going down on the footwell. And Zeffy just made herself comfortable. And so we got home, ran inside, and I was 1 hour late for work. 1 hour late. And I'd already notified them this is what's happening. So, yeah, we got home just in time. And I got home like a couple of minutes before 1 o'clock. So I had enough time for the bathroom break, grab something to make sure grab my water bottle, made sure Zeffy had food and water, and into here, down the thing, and online. Like in less than 2 minutes, I was online after we walked in the door. And so, yeah, so then we had to, and then when I finished my work for the day, I gave them a call, asked them if it was ready. They said it'll be ready in about 40 minutes. I said, can you have the driver come over, please, and pick me up so I can, and we ended up with the same driver, and Zeffy got left at home. She was not happy. But, yeah, and we got home a few minutes before getting online here for this. So it's been a very adventurous day today. So a 15-minute run to Chick-fil-A to pick up lunch turned into a 2-hour adventure. Not what we expected today. And I was like, it couldn't wait a couple of months after I'd sold the car and flown off to New Zealand. No. But whoever gets it's going to have a new alternator, a new battery, and a new serpentine belt, I think it was called. All I know is it looks like a snake belt. I don't know. Anyway, so that was our little adventure today. So you guys get to have that extra story for today. So now back to what are you willing to give up? So yes, that was our little adventure. So we're talking about sacrifice. All right, so let's get my notes here. Make sure my notes are good. Yes, notes are good. All right, so let's talk about what are you willing to give up as part of our sacrifice series this week. We all give up things, some by choice, others by necessity, but what we choose to sacrifice often reveals what we value most. Tonight, we're exploring the intentional sacrifices we make to protect our peace, our people, our purpose, and what we're willing to loosen our grip on in order to live with meaning. What sacrifice looks like by choice, it's letting go of comfort to pursue growth. It's stepping outside that comfort zone area. It's taking that leap of faith. And whenever I hear somebody taking a leap of faith, I always go immediately in my mind, I see that scene from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where he's standing there on this little narrow ledge with this huge drop down below him, and he needs to get across to the other side. And he's just like, got to take a leap of faith. And he puts his leg up and puts it down, and it comes on this path that is hidden as blended in with the wall on the other side, so you can't actually see it. You actually have to take a step of faith. So whenever I think of taking a leap of faith, I always picture that scene and thinking, yeah, the path is there. I can't see it. I've got to take a step of faith onto that path. And as soon as I take a step of faith on the path is revealed. So that's one thing that when it comes to letting go of the comfort to pursue the growth, it's stepping out of that comfort zone. It's taking that step of faith. Saying no to distractions to say yes to your calling. Right now, anything I do, if I do anything that involves creating an income or spending money, it's sort of like, will this help me get to New Zealand? It's a yes, no answer. It's not a, well, it might, and trying to justify it. No, it is a straight question that I have to answer honestly with a yes or a no. So it's taking those distractions away. If I pursue this, is it going to help me get to New Zealand? No, then I'm not pursuing it right now. I will put that on the back burner until I get to New Zealand. So it's saying no to distractions and yes to whatever it is that you're called to do. Choosing rest instead of proving your worth through busyness. Sometimes we want to feel like we are busy, so it feels like we're getting stuff done, when our body is saying, I need a break. Please just take a break. Just a 20-minute power nap. Give me a 10-minute power nap. Sometimes we have to rest instead of proving that, our worth is through busyness. There are times that you can look busy, but you're producing zero, nothing. Allowing a dream to evolve so your integrity can stay intact. What do you need to do with integrity that will help your dreams stay alive, help it to evolve and become into reality? Risking reputation to stay aligned with your truth. I will not risk my I will not risk my reputation. I like to do business with integrity. I like to be open book about it. I don't like hiding things from people when it will affect the outcome of what it is that they're hiring me to do. If they ask me, can you do this? I will go, no, but I can learn it if you want me to, or I can find somebody, or there might be somebody in my network who might be able to help them. I won't risk my reputation. I will stay true to who I am. What you see is what you get. That's as simple as it gets. What happens when we avoid sacrifice? We stay stuck in what's familiar instead of what's fulfilling. That's a big one, isn't it? Some of you are going, ooh, we hold on to roles or routine that no longer serve us. Is that role or routine helping you get your goal? No, change it. We slowly trade authenticity for approval. Yep, no. What you see is what you get. With me, what you see is what you get. We miss the deeper life available on the other side of surrender. I'm going to let that one sink in. We miss the deeper life available on the other side of surrender. That kind of reminds me of, with me, it's that step of faith, that scene from Indiana Jones, The Last Crusader. For other people, who did the video? I think it was Will Smith, did a video talking about his first skydiving experience and about how the fear was building up inside of him. And he's standing there and they're counting down before they go out the door. And like all of his fear is there. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to do that. But the moment that he steps out of that plane and experiences his first free fall, it was like, man, this is awesome. And he says, as soon as we made it to the ground, he says, this is what, He says most of the people who go skydiving, the first thing they turn around and say is, when can I go up again? It's that leap of faith that you go out there, that the parachute's going to hold you, that's going to be a fantastic experience. Whenever you get to the other, after you surrender something and you get through to the other side, you get through that obstacle, it is so much brighter and beautiful on there. Life has a very deeper meaning when you get through that obstacle. I have learned that the hard way, going through the obstacles I have over the last few years. And when you get through that obstacle and you have that breakthrough, it's like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, I like this. I like this feeling. I love how this has turned out. The results are fantastic, better than I expected. All because I took a leap of faith. I didn't allow the obstacle to hold me back. I just stepped forward with conviction and got it done. How to choose what to release. Get honest about what matters most right now. Not what matters most in 3 days, what matters most right here in this moment, right now. Get honest with it. Notice what drains your energy without giving anything back. And you will notice those drain thingies. Absolute. I mean, there's a couple of apps that I was using on my phone recently, and I got to the point I just delete. So much better since I did that. They were draining my energy. They were sucking my time. They were keeping me from my goal. And so I deleted those apps and I'm back on track. So notice things like that. Notice those things. Ask what you're protecting with each sacrifice, and is it worth it? Is what you're protecting worth the sacrifice or not? Trust that releasing something makes room for something better. Oh, this absolutely, totally. It is like when you are doing a sorting through, when you're sorting through, like I'm doing a big sort through everything in the house right now to figure out what's being sold, what's going to New Zealand with me, what am I going to donate, what am I going to sell, all of that, what's just trash, what can be recycled. The more I get out of the house, the more stuff I release, the more creative and productive I become. Think about that. The more you release, whether it's physical or mental, you're making room for productivity to come through, and your creativity gets a boost as well. Even, I always use this example that if you watch Harry Potter and you see Dumbledore there, he takes his wand, he puts it to his head, and then he has pulls a silver thread out and puts it into the pensive bowl. That silver thread is a memory. He needs to make room in his head for more memories to be created. Same kind of thing. More creativity, more productivity will come out when you release something that you're making room for. So as you sort through stuff in your house, whether it's going through a closet, a drawer, and it doesn't have to be massive. It could be put the timer on. I have got 15 minutes to go through that closet, or I've got 10 minutes to do that closet. By using that and getting rid of stuff out of there and going, wow, you'll be amazed at what you can release in 10 minutes. And the other thing is that you'll suddenly feel awake and energized, and you'll get that creative buzz going. You'll get that productivity buzz going because you just cleaned a closet in 10 minutes. And then there's that Japanese woman. I can't think of her name, but when you are releasing something, you thank it for the joy that it has provided in your life. It's something about being grateful for the things that you are releasing and giving in gratitude for those items that once brought you joy but no longer do. So now you're grateful that they're going to be going to somebody who can find joy in them. And remember, you can pause a dream without abandoning it. So you can put a dream on hold and come back to it at any time. I have a lot of dreams that are on hold right now because I'm not in the right space or place for them to take effect. Let's see. The sacrifices we make today shape the stories that get told tomorrow. Choose wisely. We model discernment, not depletion. Our sacrifices can reflect love, clarity, and conscious living, not just exhaustion. And your 3 reflection questions, which are also in the description below, that you can put into your journal. Just go up here to the left-hand corner and scan the code to get your journal. The questions for today are, what am I currently sacrificing, and is it aligned with my values? Where am I choosing comfort over growth? What would I gain by giving something up that's no longer serving me? And in closing, sacrifice isn't always about loss. Sometimes it's the bravest way to make room for what matters most. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening